I'm Mark Chalero, the owner of MS Classic Cars. Today, I'm coming back at you with another beautiful vehicle that I'm super proud of. I'm sitting behind the wheel of a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air Custom with a Ron Mangus complete custom interior that I have nicknamed Bloodshot. Just to start this video off, this is non-rehearsed, so there's a bunch of information that I'm going to forget about this car. I have made some notes that I will reference, so please check out our description, all of our photography at msclassiccars.com. We spend a lot of time with our presentations, so please make sure to visit our website. If you have or haven't been following MS Classic Cars, you know I only collect #1 and #2 condition vehicles. I make a binder for every vehicle that we have. I put everything in order, and most importantly, it includes the service invoice. We're the only classic car dealership in the country who services every vehicle we sell. We document that work with an invoice. As an example, I invested $6,241.58 in this car that you see here today. So, talking about this particular car, on our website we have almost 700 cars on our sold page. We've actually sold more than that, but those are the ones that we've left on the sold page. I will say this particular vehicle that I'm sitting in is got to be in my top 25 favorite vehicles I've ever owned. I'm not only referring to just the quality of the car, but I'm talking about how user-friendly and how well-proven this car is. I cannot go into enough detail to communicate that here in this video, but you can take my word for it. This is a spectacular car overall when you actually get into the nuts and bolts, and again, how easy and user-friendly it is to operate. So, life for this particular car, if you decode the VIN number, it was built in St. Louis, Missouri, and it was built as a 1955 Bel Air, so it's got the wide open windows here, no post that you would normally find in a 210 or 150, and the Bel Air obviously was the fancier model with all the nice trim and so forth. This particular car was born originally with an 8-cylinder, makes it pretty cool. I don't have a lot of history on the car, but one thing that I will note here as I get into the presentation, some cool information that I found in this catalog. Ron Mangus is one of the most well-known interior designers on the planet. He does unbelievable work. This is a catalog here, book, whatever you want to refer to it as, with all of the cars that he's done over the years. And of course, this car that I'm sitting in today was featured on the cover of this particular book here, which was really cool. And there's also an 8-page spread inside the book. I've put all this in the photo gallery, so make sure to check it out. But what I do when I reference page 40 where the article begins, it clearly states here who the vehicle was built by. And it was built by Bert Roberts. So I don't know him personally. This car has exchanged a few hands since it was finished, but I want to give him a shout out for doing a tremendous job. For me, the owner of MS Classic Cars, to say this is in my top 25 of my favorite cars I've ever owned is a big statement. It's a huge compliment considering the cars that we've owned here at the dealership over all these years. It also goes into a lot of detail as far as the interior and a bunch of things that were done and so forth, which I'll go over as I get into the interior. So, focusing on the outside of the car. I will say that the body work on this car is exceptional. The body is extremely straight. All of the panel fitment is exceptional. The hood opens and closes beautifully. So do the doors. So does the trunk lid. Again, I would go on record and say it's got a beautiful body with beautiful fitment. The vehicle was actually painted in a red. It's actually a beautiful color red and a beautiful color white. House of Colors was the brand name of the paint. If you do any research on House of Colors, they have great paint. A lot of times they have amazing custom colors. I think both of these colors were slightly customized. The name of the exact paints and everything are listed within our description. This paint job is a very, very high quality paint job. At MS Classic Cars, we detailed it to a brilliant shine, so I would definitely say that it's show quality paint. The next thing that I would say about the exterior is all of this glass work was replaced brand new. It's all tinted glass, so it really looks spectacular. They did a gorgeous, gorgeous job with all the glass. I also would make a comment, the bright work. The bright work on this car is phenomenal. It is in absolutely beautiful condition. I'm referring again to all of the trim that's on the car around all the windows, referring to all the side moldings, etc., in beautiful, beautiful condition. Some of the custom features that are on the vehicle from the exterior are these chrome mirrors here. They look spectacular. The other thing that they did is they smoothed the front bumper and the rear bumper for a real clean look. Beautiful job with that. And why the vehicle was at MS Classic Cars and going through the service process, we changed out the headlights. We put in a very modern Optronics LED headlight, which has got these really cool line through the middle of the headlight that looks spectacular when you turn them on. Of course, you got low beam, you got high beam. So that is one of the things that we did here at the dealership. The other thing is this car sits on Budnik Wheels. If you don't know much about Budnik, they're a great company. We've done a lot of business with them over the years. They custom make wheels and steering wheels. These particular wheels here, Muroc II is what they refer to them as. Again, they're 17-inch, they're polished, and they are wrapped with Bridgestone tires. They fit the car perfectly. They're not too big like you see on a lot of cars today with little baloney-sized tires. They have good meat on the tires. They fit the car perfectly, and they kind of keep it looking somewhat error correct to what it was back in the day. So again, I cannot say enough about the exterior of this vehicle. It is in beautiful condition. So let's get to one of the biggest selling points about this car, this interior. I can't even think of how expensive this would be. I've heard people say it's $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 to do one of these interiors. I completely now understand why. Sitting in this car, it reminds me of sitting in something that is brand new today, a real high-end car, maybe some type of a Mercedes-Benz or Bentley or whatever the case might be. It is absolutely gorgeous. So the first thing that I'll say here is the headliner. The headliner is done to a very high level. I don't think we've ever had a headliner that's as tastefully done as what this is. They left these ribs here to simulate the old style headliner this car had back in the day. Of course, in this catalog here, which I'll touch base in a minute, so much thought went into this interior. They render it, they create it, they design it, and so much thought goes into it. Again, so all of this here is beautiful. They have the dome lights that are nicely recessed in the rear corners of the headliner. The sun visors, which are also made of the same beautiful tan, it's kind of a darker tan leather upholstery. These sun visors are actually recessed into the headliner. So much fabrication work went into that. Of course, the entire headliner here all the way down to the back is all dressed with that beautiful stainless trim, which is impeccable. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. They've got a custom rear view mirror here. Even the pieces that hold the sun visors are custom. Then what they did is they wrapped the entire top of the dash in leather. They painted the front fascia here to match the leather. Of course, there's a real nice simulated wood trim that covers the whole front fascia, which looks beautiful. It's got white custom hot rod is what the name of the company is who supplied them. Gauges, they're electric gauges. They work beautiful. It's got a functioning clock on the passenger side below the word Bel Air, which has got the black background. Again, I cannot say enough about it. It's got obviously working headlights. The windshield wipers work beautiful. It does have vintage air conditioning. They put in vintage style AC vents. It's got its own, obviously, center glove box here with a spot to hook up the laptop to do tuning, which I'll get into in a minute regarding the engine and drivetrain. Then they put in this really nice tilt steering column here that functions beautifully. They painted it like they did the dash to match. And then, of course, they added a Budnik steering wheel. This is a beveled sport is what they refer to it as. It's polished. It really matches the exterior wheels nicely. They wrapped it with the same color steering wheel cover here that matches the interior. Getting into the center console, probably one of my favorite features here. They did this beautiful console. It has a spot in the console to hold your cell phone holder. It's got cup holders here. All the power window switches are located on the console itself. You open this up, it's got a beautiful storage compartment with this leather strap that holds the top here. There's power outlets, there's a USB connection. They just did a really beautiful job. The sound system is actually tucked underneath this front fascia of the console, so it lifts up, and then you have your stereo unit, which looks really, really nice. Again, very, very rich, beautiful job. Why I'm touching base on the power windows. This is a really cool feature this car has. It has one-touch windows, similar to a new car. And I'm not just referring to the driver's window. I'm referring to all 4 windows are one touch. Hit the button down, they all go down. It works beautifully. These windows go up beautifully as well. On that note, what I'd like to demonstrate here now is if I were to hit this remote control, say you're exiting the vehicle, you want to lock the doors and so forth, you hit this button and all the windows go up. I'm going to demonstrate it right now, then what I'll do is put all the windows down. Check this out. So you'll see how quickly all those windows went up. This is one touch. See how the window on the side goes down? Same thing with the rear window as well. Same thing with the other passenger rear window as well. First car I've ever owned that actually does that. It's very impressive to have made that all possible. And you, again, can lock the doors, so it does have power door locks as well. Getting into the door panels are absolutely stunning. So much innovation went into these door panels. Again, some of the best I've ever seen. They have all these chrome accents. A lot of the hardware was brass that was chrome plated. So much thought went into this. Even the areas where the speakers are in the door panels were made to look like the exterior mirrors that came from the factory, which I thought were really, really cool. The kick panels are absolutely beautiful. Of course, these seats that I'm sitting in, these seats are out of a Lexus SC400. They're extremely comfortable. They did an absolutely beautiful job wrapping these seats. These seats are as nice, if not nicer, than most new cars today. The way that they did this work is really impeccable. These seats are also not only adjustable, but they're power. So you have power seats, you have power windows, power locks, air conditioning, all the features that you could want inside. It even has cruise control. This vehicle is so loaded with options and everything just works so nice. Again, I cannot compliment the car enough for being so user-friendly. The rear seat was done absolutely spectacular. The fit and finish is second to none. Even the rear shelf in the back where the speakers are and everything was done so beautifully. Again, right down to the carpeting. It actually has a German square weave carpeting that was applied with matching floor mats. Again, you have to check this out in our photo gallery to clearly see how magnificent this interior was. Beautiful, beautiful job. Again, I give a lot of credit to Ron Mangus. One of the things that stuck out to me, and I'll read it here really quickly, and then we'll move on to the trunk compartment. I'm just going to find this section here. Again, this was an 8-page deal. It goes into a lot of the things that they did with this interior, but the one thing that I thought was really cool is here, number 2, careful consideration was given to the owner's driving comfort for this 55. For example, the center console and door panel armrests were carefully designed at the same height. Not something that you would normally think of, but when you're sitting in this car, both of your elbows are at the same position here. Again, remember, this is a 1955 vehicle that we're sitting in. It's just those little tiny touches that make all the difference in the world. You know, it's got this beautiful gear shift selector here. The tilt mechanism to move the steering wheel up and down is beautiful. Even the e-brake and the headlight switch is in like custom condition. It's beautiful. The trunk compartment. The trunk compartment was done exactly to the same quality as the interior. So when you see the pictures in the photo gallery, you will see that everything was wrapped in the same type of leather material. They used all of the same type of chrome trim. They used the same German weaved carpeting in the back. And behind the center panel in the trunk, it comes down and you will see how beautiful of a job they did installing the amplifier and some of the stereo components, and also the red top Optima battery that has its own power cutoff knob is there as well. So again, as much thought went into the trunk compartment as the interior. Some of the best that we've ever seen in MS Classic cars. Now, getting into the engine compartment. This engine compartment is like opening up a jewelry box. First thing you do is you open it up. You will notice that it's all been painted red. The firewall was smoothed. The inner fenders were smooth. They fabricated a custom radiator support. It's all been painted red. It looks absolutely beautiful. Look at the bolts. Just pay attention to all of the stainless fasteners, all the stainless bolts. Even the rubber stops that are in here were done to a very high level. There was obviously no expense spared on this entire restoration. The fit and finish is second to none. At MS Classic Cars, when we got the car, it had painted hood hinges. We thought it would look even better if we added a quality set of aluminum hinges, so we went with Billet Specialties. They look absolutely amazing. That is definitely something that we'll pat ourselves on the back for, just because it really finished, I thought, the look of the engine compartment. The heart of this car, which is dressed with a ton of accessories, I'll go over that in a second. It is a LS-based 5.3 liter 8-cylinder with a Magnacharger Supercharger that has a air-to-water intercooler. The entire engine was painted. A lot of the brackets were fabricated. They were powder coated. They did a beautiful job with that. The valve covers, we added the Supercharged emblems on the side. We did a little bit of customization to the air intake just to give it a little bit more pop factor when it was going through our service department. We also added the newer modern style Wilwood brake master cylinder, which looks really good. But again, this engine compartment is beautiful. Let me make sure I don't forget a couple of these details here and just reference some of my notes. So some of the features in the engine bay that I did not mention: it does have American auto wiring. It has a Howell engine management system. The oil pan was powder coated as well. Again, I mentioned all the pulleys, all the brackets. It's got braided stainless lines. It's got an aluminum AC condenser. It's got a powder coated AC compressor. It's got a chrome alternator. It's got a high torque starter. We can just go on and on for days. You will notice that the engine is cooled by an aluminum radiator with dual electric fans. It's got Dakota Digital little controller there for the fans. They made some custom overfill canisters which look beautiful. Again, fit and finish, second to none. The engine breathes through ceramic headers. It goes into a beautifully done MagnaFlow exhaust system, which sounds spectacular. You'll hear it in a minute when I go ahead and start it up. This engine is actually coupled to a 4L60E 4-speed automatic transmission, which shifts absolutely beautiful. So this vehicle has the perfect amount of power for somebody who wants to get in it and wants to, you know, have a great ride, great performance, but it's not overdone. It's, again, very user-friendly, perfect engine transmission combination for this car. The power is transferred out the rear, which is a Ford 9-inch posi rear end. They went with a really, really well-built rear end. Again, no expense was spared on this vehicle. Getting into the undercarriage, it doesn't stop. It just gets better. When you look at the underneath of this, they did an absolutely beautiful job finishing the bottom side of the vehicle. It is definitely mirror quality underneath. One of the things they did is they powder coated and they modified the original frame, which was actually done by Williams Classics Chassis. It does have power steering. All the power steering components were also powder coated as well. It looks spectacular. I'm going to read off my notes about the suspension here. The suspension system consists of powder coated Heights front suspension. If you don't know much about Heights, great company, Google them, check it out. So it does have a front sway bar. It's got 2-inch drop spindles, polished front coil adjustable shocks, and polished rear adjustable shocks. The braking system, as I mentioned earlier, we put a Wilwood master cylinder in the engine bay, a new modern one. It even has Wilwood proportioning valves on there as well. It's got a painted 7-inch dual brake booster. And again, it has 4-wheel Wilwood brakes. It has that's disc brakes. It does have a custom fuel tank underneath. Again, I can go on and on about this vehicle. Again, for a full description with tons of photos, check it out on our website at msclassiccars.com. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is start the vehicle for you. We did start this vehicle just for about a minute before we started this video here. It starts absolutely beautifully every single time. Again, it's been proven to be extremely reliable. It's extremely user-friendly. It's definitely a top 25 MS Classic Cars vehicle in our history, which says a lot. So anyway, I'll go ahead and start it. We appreciate you watching. Time to rock and roll. Fires right up. It purrs like a kitten. Can't be proud enough. Thanks again for watching.